Lately I've been sitting with this thought. It feels like the whole world is frustrated right now. Frustrated with life, frustrated with finances. My hand is raised high on that one. Um, Frustrated with relationships, frustrated with the government. Me too. And honestly, there's a song lyric that keeps coming to mind by Aloe Black, and it's the whole world is sitting on a ticking bomb. And if we're being real, that does not feel far from the truth, right? Because when people are frustrated, they don't know how to handle it. That frustration turns into anger, confusion, burnout, and even hopelessness. And so today I want to talk about something very, very real, and it is how do we deal with frustration biblically? Not just emotionally, not just logically, but God's way. And so, one of the things we need to do is to calm down before you react. This part is practical, not spiritual. Calm down. Because when you're frustrated, you can't think clearly and all you see is the problem. I need this to go away. I need out of this situation. I need this person gone, like yesterday, right? That's it. But frustration narrows your vision. And so I want you to think about what helps calm you down. So for me, it's exercising, it's stretching, reading the Bible, of course, quiet time with God, and even just stepping away, even if it's just for a moment. And yes, science even backs this up as well. So, exercise really does improve your mood and clarity. But spiritually, man, it creates a space for God to speak, all of which will place you in a position to identify the source of your frustration, which leads me to my next point. You need to make sure that you identify the source of your frustration, because I know it seems simple, but most of us skip this step. We've got to identify the source, because sometimes you're frustrated and you don't even know why. You just feel irritated, you just feel off, you feel overwhelmed. You can't quite put your finger on it, right? And it's one of those frustrating feelings, right? And here's the truth. You cannot solve what you won't identify. Okay? So I want you to ask yourself, what exactly is frustrating me? Is this internal or is it external? Is this something I caused or something outside of my control? The answer to those questions truly does matter, because there are literally two types of frustration. We've got one, which is self caused frustration, because let's be honest, myself included, sometimes we are the source of our own frustration. So let's say, for example, you're about to fail a class because you didn't study. You're not frustrated with the teacher, you're frustrated with yourself, right? And here's the good news: if you caused it, you can fix it, because that frustration can actually be a signal to take responsibility and actually change, right? The next type of frustration is external frustration, okay? So it's when you experience circumstances beyond your control, like you lose a job, you face illness, doors close unexpectedly, and you didn't cause any of it. And that hits extremely different. I know. You feel powerless, but even then, God is still present in that situation. And so, once we've identified that source, I want you to know the next step is to take it to God first, okay? If you don't know why you're frustrated, go to God. Even if you do know why you're frustrated, still go to God. God is the answer, right? Because prayer does two different things. It centers you and it invites clarity into your mind. And so Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 through 7 essentially says, bring everything to God in prayer, and his peace will guard your heart. And so let's talk about the hard part, okay? I'm going to say the quiet parts out loud, all right? Sometimes you pray and you hear nothing, and that is extremely frustrating. I get it. Let's be real. You're like, God, I've been praying. Where are you? And this is where many people give up, myself included. I've been there. But here's what I've learned. God's timing is perfect, but it is rarely convenient. If it doesn't align with our timelines, and if you're anything like me, you wanted answers yesterday. So, prime example, I have literally been looking for a job for over a year now, and it sounds so crazy to even say that out loud. That just seems insane because I've never been in this position before. And yes, I could have used a breakthrough a long time ago, but I've also learned this. God doesn't waste seasons. Some things I understand now, some things are still unfolding, but clarity is coming. And so all you have to do is stay in faith and shift your perspective, which leads me to my next point. Once you calm down, you are going to start to see things very differently. You're going to go from having that pity party, why is this happening to me, to what is God trying to show me? And let me say this, okay? You do not fully understand the lesson until you're tested. You just don't. I hate to say it. And we all think that we understand patience until we're forced to wait. We think that we understand faith until we have no control, right? And so your life is bigger than what you think. I want you to really remember that. This is the part that really changed my perspective, because you are not living in a silo. You're just not, okay? Your life impacts other people even when you don't see it. So when I started this podcast, I honestly thought I was talking to myself. And in some ways I was, okay, because it was extremely therapeutic. But then the messages started coming in, the emails, the comments, and then I realized, wait a minute, people from all over the world are listening to this podcast. I was getting messages from South Africa, Nigeria, Australia, Indonesia. I mean, it was crazy. That one decision to show up, it is like fascinating to me how that one decision to show up has dramatically impacted my life as well as the lives of others. And so here's the truth. The enemy is going to try to convince you you're just one person, right? You don't matter. No one is listening, but that is a lie. Okay, let me tell you, that is a lie. Your life matters, your obedience matters, and your story may be the breakthrough that someone else is praying for. And so I want you to remember this, okay? Please remember this. I know when you're frustrated, it feels permanent, okay? Again, you're talking to someone who's been looking for a job for over a year, so trust me, I get it. But it's not, okay? Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 reminds us there is a season for everything. This frustration, remember that it has an expiration date. You just can't see it yet. Your frustration has purpose. And here's what I want to leave you with. Your frustration is not in vain. God is doing something in you and through you. And one day, you're going to look back on the way that you handled this season, and you're going to realize that it helped you to grow in grace to become more like Christ. All right, so if you're feeling frustrated right now, which I'm assuming you are, because otherwise you probably wouldn't have clicked on this video, right? So I want you to do the following. 1, take it to God in prayer. 2, identify the source. 3, be patient and give God time to work. And most importantly, please do not allow your frustration to pull you away from God. Let it push you toward Him. So if this video resonated with you, please be sure to join our email community for more faith-based content. And remember, if you're everything to everyone, the risk being no one. You never know who you will inspire. See you in the next video. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, God, I thought I'd be farther along than this? Maybe you're single, maybe you're rebuilding, maybe life hasn't gone the way you planned. Let me remind you of a truth most people won't say out loud. Your life does not start when a relationship begins, your purpose doesn't wait on a ring, and your calling doesn't need permission from anyone but God. And that's exactly why I wrote How to Live an Extraordinary Life with or Without Mr. Right. This isn't another book telling you to sit still and wait. It's a roadmap for becoming the woman God created you to be. In your joy, in your purpose, in your gifts, in your confidence. Inside, you're going to learn how to hear God's voice above the noise, build a life that excites you, break free from comparison and timelines, and walk boldly, knowing you are already whole. You are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are becoming. Grab your copy today and let's build the extraordinary life God designed for you.